I would be interested to know your opinion on that. So we have two things. We have a discussion on people of color playing the game. And if you're a person of color, you know what I mean by playing the game. And if people of color, African Americans mainly, have a responsibility to educate and teach white people about discrimination and racism. You know, what do you mean? I don't understand. You know, why does that offend you? You know, so let's talk about playing the game. Okay, so growing up, I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood. Both parents, mother and father, present in the home, always, until my father passed. In 2018, my parents were married for 60 years. And they lived in the same house for 59 years. And my mother still lives in that house today. The majority of the people that I grew up with are still living in those homes, meaning the parents are still living in those homes. Some people have sold, you know, but I grew up in a neighborhood where it was both mother and father. I went to a private school, private elementary school, private high school, or Lutheran, I'll say. That was white. That was white. You know, as I got further along in elementary school, you know, started to integrate and get more people of color came, it was, you know, more Black people, more Black students, and the same with my high school. But my high school was in a very white neighborhood. And as I grew up, you know, even when I was young, I knew that there was a game that I had to play, and that people who look like me were constantly playing. You know, it's like when you're back at home and you're in your own neighborhood around people who look like you know, you kind of breathe a sigh of relief that I can stop being on, that I'm not on now. I'm not lights, camera, action. I'm not on. And it's something that people of color have had to learn to do, have had to adjust to in our professional lives. If you are going to school with white people, you know, usually we have to assimilate to what white people are doing. We have to assimilate into their world. It's very rare that white people assimilate into our world. You know, we're always assimilating into their world. You know, we're always the ones that have to adjust, which in turn, we're playing the game. A game that we play. You know, if you work in corporate America, especially in corporate America, you are playing this constant game. And it's a game that, as I said, is exhausting. You know, if you go into a meeting and if you're one of the only dots in the room, or maybe 2 or 3 dots in the room full of white people, you're adjusting to this, white corporate culture. And I'm even going to leave the corporate part out, where you just adjust to this culture of being around white people. But when white people tend to come into our world, they don't adjust to us. What they do, if they see something that we do that they like, they start to imitate us. They start to, use words or phrases that we may use. And I'll give you one that is like, my bad. Where did white people get that from? That came from us. You have female boxers out there white female boxers out there, and even Hispanic female boxers out there who are wearing braids in their hair. And they want to call them boxer braids. Those were not boxer braids. That came from Layla Ali. Give her credit for them. Layla Ali was the one who started wearing braids. Give her credit. And if you even want to talk about braids in your hair, that came from us, from our culture. It came from Africa. It came from the African continent. Even when you go back to Egypt, which is on the African continent, because yes, Egyptians are Black, even though they may not want to admit it, but yes, you are Black. The braids, the crowns, the different ways that we can wear our hair, the versatility that we have. We can wear it straight. We can wear it in braids, twists, froze. We can do so much with our hair. Give us the credit. Give us the credit for what we bring into society. But once again, we're always the ones who have to play this game. We have to play this game. If you're an attorney, if you're a person of color, if you're an attorney, a person of color, doctor, whatever, we're constantly playing this game in the white world. But at the same time, it's like these people, these same people want us to teach them. Well, I'm sorry, was that racist? Should I not have said that? Well, is it okay if I say this? Some people are just downright ignorant. And I'm talking about white people. Some white people are just downright ignorant. And some of them, they really don't know. But I think the ones that do know, and they want to, can I touch your hair? Why would you want to touch somebody's hair? I don't want to touch yours. Why do you want to touch mine? Why are you so interested in my hair? I mean, honestly, I don't want to touch your hair. Lord knows what's in your hair. But just to say, I don't want to touch it. I don't want you touching mine. Especially, if we're wearing braids or twists, it's like, ooh, can I touch it? Can I touch it? And then let's talk about Botox. Okay, can we talk about Botox for a moment? Growing up, I used to hear, you have big lips, Black people have big lips, they have their behinds are big, whatever. You all are too black, you're too dark. But you have white people now who are running out, paying hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars to get Botox in their lips, get fillers in their butt, go to a tanning salon or just go to the beach, and get brown. Why do you want to be dark? Why do you want your lips to be fuller? Why do you want your buttocks to be bigger? Because yours is flat? Because your lips are thin? Why? I mean, I'm just asking the question, why? And one thing that I do want to bring up is when white people, we're already playing this game. And as I said before, it's an exhausting game to play constantly every single day. It's exhausting. And when a white person asks us, to teach them something, or, well, can you just help me learn? It's showing your microaggression. I mean, there's so many things out there. Learn yourself. Look it up yourself. You be proactive and you try to find out on your own what you need to know. Because people of color, we don't have an advantage of teaching you. There's no advantage that I'm getting. I just want you to know, I don't want you to teach me or tell me what it's like to be white, because I already know. I see it. I see the privilege you have. I see the fact that when you get stopped by the police, or if you are a woman going into a job interview and I'm going into the job interview, and we can have the exact same level of education. We can have worked at our previous job, the same job in the same department, doing the exact same thing, the same job title. But if both of us get this promotion, whatever, I guarantee you're going to be making, the white woman is going to be making more money than I would. So, this Women's March and everything, when it first came out, I was like, oh yeah, this is really, really cool, until I really started to do my own, I guess, due diligence and really looked at the Women's March and how a lot of it was dismissive of women of color. And here are these women of color, standing up with you and wearing their little pussy hats and everything, saying, yeah, women, should do this. I mean, I even have a pussy hat, yeah, power to women, and, we should be equals and what have you. But I'm not equal to you. And I'm not equal to you. I mean, when women were given the right to vote, it wasn't given to me. It wasn't given to people who look like me. It was given to white women. It took us another 30, 35 years for us to get, our right to vote. Meanwhile, we're living in this world where we're constantly, and not just talking about women now, I'm talking about people of color, where we constantly have to navigate. We constantly have to navigate the landmines, that are out there. Meanwhile, we're dealing with people who are saying, well, is your skin as soft as mine? Just like I did a show the other day with Blue Eye Black Eye, and if you watch the show, which you can watch on YouTube, if you watch the show, then you can see that one of the women said that when her half caste student, beautiful girl, fell and scraped her cheek, she was surprised. The white teacher was surprised that it was pink underneath. This has to be explained to you too. Did you not take science in school? Did you not take biology? I mean, come on. If people of color come across as angry, or our tone is not the way we're expected to have it, then we're militant, we're angry. Why are you guys angry all the time? Why did your voice get louder? Why don't you stay calm? But yet you're asking us to school you on race. The fact that you even have to ask me or ask someone else of color shows that, in my opinion, there's a problem. There is a problem. I mean, there are times when I've gone out with, some of my white friends, and I'm the only one. And some of their questions can be just so asinine that inwardly I'm literally just like shaking my head, and it's like I'm not even going to respond to it because it's so stupid. When Colin Kaepernick, hope I say his name correctly, I always mess it up, first kneeled, and I went to breakfast with one of my white friends, and she asked me, what did I think? And I didn't really know too much about what was going on, whatever. And I sat and I listened to her, and I told her, I said, I don't really know what's going on. I've heard his name. I really haven't paid attention to it, which I hadn't. And she made the comment, he's half white. He grew up in a privileged area. Why should he be concerned and worried about the rights of other people if he has it good? And I thought, when she said that, I thought that was one of the most ignorant things I had ever heard, or one of the most ignorant things I had ever heard. And I still hadn't known really who this guy was. I don't follow football. I'm not a football fan, whatever. I still didn't know who he was. But that comment, the comment that he grew up in a privileged area, in a privileged home, why should he be concerned? Well, shouldn't you be concerned if everyone's not treated fairly? Shouldn't you be concerned if, we're supposed to be, the Constitution is supposed to be for everyone? But when the Constitution was written, they were talking about white men. They weren't talking about women. They weren't talking about slaves. They weren't talking about Indians. They were talking about white men. So as I started to learn and educate myself on the whole kneeling thing and what Colin Kaepernick, was trying to say, I got behind him 100% because I understood, and I never forgot that comment that was made. Just, he's half white. He grew up privileged. So does that mean that since someone like Oprah, who's a billionaire, even though she, grew up poor, but look at where she is now, does that mean that she shouldn't be concerned about the rights of others because now she has all this money and she can pretty much do whatever she wants, and she can, she has power, and people listen to her, that she shouldn't be concerned about other people? No. But I can guarantee you one thing: Oprah plays the game. She plays the game. She would not have been able to get where she was today if she didn't play the game. And I say that to all the athletes out there. I say that to all of the celebrities out there. You played the game to get where you are. You had to. You had to. I look at Senator Tim Scott, who, for me personally, he's an embarrassment to not just African Americans, but to the Black race, period. To say what he said after President Biden's State of the Union speech, after his 100 days, and to say that, there's no racism. But yet, you're constantly playing the game. You're playing the game, giving that speech. That speech, you were playing the game, and you cannot tell me that you were not. But then I look at someone like Justice Clarence Thomas. Do I think he played the game at one time? Yes. Do I think he's playing the game now? No. I think Justice Thomas thinks he's a white man. I I do. I think that Justice Thomas truly believes that he's white. But I don't think Justice Thomas probably knows that behind his back, even though he's been married to the same white woman for, years, that they're probably talking behind his back that, this N-word is married to this white woman. We'll give him a little pass because he's a conservative on the Supreme Court, but he's still an N-word. And if people do not think that conversation has been had by at least one person with another white person, you're crazy. Playing the game is something that we have to do every day if we are interacting with white people. And playing that game means that we have to listen and deal with the ignorance that is out there, when it comes to race. I mean, questions that, people may think are innocent is something that is a trigger for us. As I said, I don't know, I used to work at a telecommunications company that was very much good old boys white network. Usually if a white man was promoted, it wasn't because of what he knew. It was because of who he knew. And I've even had people who have worked there that I know today who have said they didn't know what they were doing, but yet they were senior managers and directors, you know. And one thing about this particular company is the majority of the people there who had degrees were Black. The majority of the people who had college degrees were Black. And you had a lot of those same Black people who, while they were working at this company, were still going to school part-time to get their masters. You know, it's just amazing to me. You know, that yet we were relegated into these lesser roles, unless you decided to really just want to bust out, which is what I did. I'm not going to be relegated here. I'm going to work here, you know. But you know, and listening to some of the comments that they made, you know, about us. Well, I don't understand why you people do this and you people do this. You never want to come to work. You never want to do this. I'm like, what are you talking about? We're coming to work. You guys are the ones all the way always calling in sick. We're here. We're here. Because if we don't come to work, we get fired. And I'm going to tell you a story about someone who used to work at this particular company. She was an African-American person, and she worked in what then was called corporate. You had residential, you had commercial. Then as the company grew, the next thing up was corporate. Then you had strategic accounts, then you had national accounts, and then you had global. So this particular person worked in corporate accounts, and there was a manager there, a Black manager, who was, in my opinion, like a Clarence Thomas. And she would just, whatever the white people wanted her to do, she did it, you know, whatever. But this particular girl, who was a consultant in corporate accounts, she was in an accident with a taxi. And this was back in the 90s, okay? And her mother called in and said that her daughter would not be able to come to work because she's sick. Well, come to find out that her mother called in again. They're like, well, why can't she call in? Her mother says she's not able to. Come to find out she's in the hospital. And just the buzz around that just got around, you know, that she's out, she doesn't want to come to work, that's what Black people do. They don't want to work, whatever. And this is what was said around the company, that she didn't want to come to work. So her mother kept calling in. They said, well, we need proof. And this one particular manager said, well, I don't believe, and this, again, the manager's Black. I don't believe your daughter's really sick. What hospital is she in? I want to go see her. I want proof that, that she's there. All of this. And her mother had admitting papers and stuff. She says, no, you're not going to go see my daughter. You're not going to go stand over her and prove that she is in this hospital, whatever. But here's the paperwork showing that she is in this hospital. She was admitted here. Here's accident report, whatever. Still wasn't good. Still wasn't good enough. So the consultant was in the hospital for about a month. And she died. All of a sudden, these white people and this Black manager who were just dogging her. I mean, that's all you heard throughout the company, is how this one Black girl just did not want to come to work because that's what Black people do. We don't want to work. Well, she passed away. And all of a sudden, these white people want to come to the funeral. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, she died. Oh, Needless to say, her mother didn't allow it. Well, why didn't you tell us? We didn't know it was so serious. Well, I'm calling you, telling you that my daughter is in the hospital. You're harassing me. I'm trying to deal with my daughter who was in an accident. And I'm telling you she's in the hospital. I'm giving you this proof that she's in the hospital. What more do you want? You know, and I can tell you stories about this particular company. I can tell you stories. And I was talking to someone who I met there, who has been a friend of mine for over 30 years. And we were talking and the other day, and I said, this particular company taught me about corporate racism. It was, even though we went through hell with some of those people, it was a good learning experience in terms of knowing how corporate racism works and how, you know, you could know everything and they will pass you over. I had one supervisor who worked in national accounts, and she got pregnant, a single mother. And she was a supervisor at the time, and she would go out and she would see customers. They didn't want her to go out and see customers anymore. They wouldn't let her because she was a Black single mother who was pregnant. But she knew her job. She knew what was going on. And one thing that I learned when I used to go out and see customers, and I would sit there and I would listen to these so-called account execs. And they wouldn't know what they were talking about. They didn't know, you know, anything about how the telecommunications worked. They didn't know any of that. You know, people who looked like me were the ones telling the customer, well, your line will be doing this and doing this, whatever, you know, and to the point where the customers were calling us. You know, but yet they're getting these bonuses and we're getting this bonus and they're getting these big ones. You know, and even when we are going out to see customers, you know, we're still playing this game. We're still, you know, we're in this white world. We're still playing this game, you know, that is literally making you want to throw up because you're looking at these people who are supposed to know and they don't know what the hell they're doing, you know, yet you're playing the game to, you know, function in this white world for 8 or 9 hours a day until you go home. So I don't know. You know, and then you have these same people where you would go out and go to these meetings, you know, how they have these group meetings, everyone would go to these group meetings. And this particular company, they were very, very good at very generous. Whenever they would take our group out, you know, whatever, it wouldn't be like, oh, we're going to go to this restaurant, we're going to do this. Like they would fly us somewhere. And, you know, we would be somewhere, you know, for 3 days, for a week, whatever. And if you were, you know, rooming with one of them, you know, and you're, again, I go back to the hair thing because, you know, I used to always wear braids. And, you know, you're standing in the mirror, you're getting dressed, you know, and they're looking at you and do your hair. And it was always the whole thing with the, can I touch? Can I touch? You know, and it's, you know, it's exhausting. You know, it's no. Well, you don't have to get so angry. Well, you don't have to want to touch my hair. it's making comments about your butt. Seriously, and I have always been of the and I still am. I am one of those people who, if you open the door, I'm walking through. If you say something to me where either it's meant to be a put down or you think it's funny, but you know that it's not funny, you open the door, I'm walking through. So you're giving me the okay to come back at you with whatever the hell I want to say. And this particular girl that I was rooming with, why do Black people, why are your behinds so round? And I looked at her, I said, why are yours so flat? Why do white people have flat asses? She didn't like that. She did not like that at all. She, in fact, I can still see her face, and I know her name. I'm not going to, name these people, but it's like, when you say these things, and this is not just for white people. This is with anything. If you say something to me, I am going to fire back at you. I had another white person who would tell me, and this was just a couple of years ago. You're getting older now. Shouldn't you stop wearing a ponytail? And I said, well, what does it matter to you how I wear my hair? Well, just say, when you get older, you should probably do this to your hair, and you should probably do this, and blah, 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 blah. This is a white woman. I said, so you're getting older now too. Shouldn't you stop bleaching yours? And everybody was like, oh, Lisa, you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said, well, why? You said it to me. You said something about, I'm asking you. All of a sudden now she's offended. So when white people, and I keep saying white people because they're usually the ones that are doing it, when they make offensive remarks or statements, be prepared. And I'm not going to say for our anger, for our frustration, because it's another, here we go again. I don't know how many times I've been somewhere and a friend of mine and someone says something stupid about color, whatever, and we'll kind of, look at each other like, here we go again. Sometimes, I just let people just go on because I'm not going to respond to it because I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and what they're even saying is stupid. It's not even worth me wasting my breath that I could possibly use when I'm on my deathbed to get 2 more breaths so I can live another 2 seconds, to respond to the crap that they're saying, so, it's just a world that we constantly have to live in. And if you live, in a neighborhood where it's integrated, you're constantly on, even if you don't even know you're on, even if you don't even know that you're playing this game, psychologically, you are. And then when you get back to your home, or you get back to your own neighborhood, whatever, you are breathing a sigh of relief. I mean, there are many times when I was working at this telecom company that I was exhausted when I got home from work. I was exhausted. It wasn't because I had a hard day at work or my, day was, particularly busy or whatever. It was usually because I was dealing with people who were just exhausting and were just mentally draining, and being in an environment where it was just constantly, being on. I know that some white people have said that Black people want to be included in things, yet they have their own groups or, foundations or whatever. I had one person ask me, well, why is there the NAACP? If you want to be included, why would you go out and do the NAACP? And I thought that was really, what? So does that mean that if I wanted to be a Klan member and join the Klan and go with you when you burn crosses and, whatever, and I wanted to put a sheet on my head, would they have allowed me to come? So those cities out there who all white cities, no Black people are allowed, that's okay. Hospitals that wouldn't admit Black people, that's okay. Schools that didn't want to admit Black people, this is a white school, we want to keep it white, that's okay. Why do I have to even respond to that? Why are you even asking that dumbass question? I mean, but then if someone responds like I'm responding now, why are you so angry? Why is she getting so riled up? And then if you do something that I really don't like, and if I want to go out and protest, oh, I don't understand. Black lives matter. All lives matter. All lives matter. Yes, all lives matter, but Black lives matter too. You're not navigating the world that we navigate. You're not always on. You're not always playing this game. I mean, even when we get stopped by the police and we have to go through our yes, officer, no, officer. I understand, officer. That's a game that we have to play. To hopefully, if we play the game right, we may live to see another day. And even when we do play the game, we don't live to see the other day, or we'll be paralyzed for the rest of our lives or something. So no, I don't want to know what it's like to be you, because I already know. I already know what it's like to be you. Yes, you may have had a hard life. Yes, you may have grown up poor. Yes, you may have grown up in a single parent home. Yes, you could have been, grown up in a home where someone did drugs. Yes, you could have had an abusive marriage or whatever. Yep. But your life is still better than someone else who went through the same thing. And one thing that I am going to say over and over again is, we are not stupid people. We are not stupid. Whether we have degrees or not, we are not stupid people. People of color are very intelligent people, and we come from intelligent people. And the thing that has hurt us all these years are the stereotypes that have been assigned to us and given to us by non-people of color. If I wanted to go to school and stand up for my kid, because the teacher was doing this or whatever, I'm told I'm the militant parent. But that same white parent who goes up to stand up for their kid, they're just a concerned parent. I don't know how many times I was told that I was militant when before my son was homeschooled because I was standing up for my child. Oh no, you're not going to do that. He's not going to do that. You're going to do this. But I'm militant. Oh, here she comes again. She's, she's militant. Okay. It's just I don't know. You have white people who really don't care and could care less if they know about us or want to learn about us or our history. And then you have white people who truly, truly do want to stay woke or really do want to put in the effort to, learn about what is going on, or who really, for the first time, especially last summer, for the first time, really see us, see what we go through. But to those people, I say to you, instead of asking us, take the time to learn on your own first. Go to a museum. There are African American, places that you can go in practically every city. Go. And if you ever get the chance to go to Washington, please go to the African Museum, the Cultural Museum there. I mean, it is, that's one of the most fantastic places I have ever been in. And next time I'm in Washington, I plan to go back. I was there in 2017 and the time I spent there was not enough. But there are places all over this country that you can go and learn. You don't need us to tell you. As I said yesterday, that the people who want us to leave the past behind, the people who don't want to talk and want to say, why do we have to talk about the past? Let's look towards the future. You're the ones who are keeping everything that happened in the past. You're the ones who are bringing it to the future and moving it to the present. I mean, I'm sorry, you're the ones that are keeping it in the present and moving it in, to the future. You're the ones who are, the divisiveness and the racism and stuff, the things that we dealt with, back then, we're dealing with now. And I could be wrong, but I do believe it was the governor of New Jersey, I could be wrong, that I read today. I have to make sure I have my facts right, but one of the governors, back east, signed into law where in schools you have to learn about Native American Indians. Why does that even have to be a law? I mean, why does that have to be a law? When you open up a history book, again, it should not just be about white history. It should not just be about the founding fathers, Abraham Lincoln, Roosevelt. It should be about all of us who contributed to this history. I mean, Harriet Tubman lived to the age of, I do believe it was 92. She died in, I think it was 1913, 12, 13. The things that she didn't just stop with the Underground Railroad and bringing slaves to and from, from the South to the North. She was an activist. She was part of the Black Lives Matter movement. Bringing those slaves from the South to the North, she was saying Black Lives Matter. I'm going to save these Black people. You know, if you want to learn about us, then make an active, conscious effort to go learn about us. I mean, one of the most fascinating places that I've been in, and fascinating may be the wrong word, that, and I might get in trouble for using that word, but not only fascinating, but a place that was just full of sorrow and just horror, was when I went to the Holocaust Museum, you know, because I wanted to learn more about the Holocaust. You know, and going there and hearing these stories and hearing people actually speak, you know, and you see this. You know, I'm not going to ask a Jewish person, well, what was it like? Or, well, you know, whatever. I'm going to go and I'm going to learn. You know, and I've met two people. This was years ago, who had the numbers on their wrist, whatever. One I saw by accident, another one we were talking about racism and she showed me. Another one I saw by accident and I knew what it was. I mean, imagine walking around your entire life labeled like that. But then again, we walk around our entire lives labeled just for the fact that we have black skin. You don't have to write anything on our forehead. You don't have to write put a star on our jacket or whatever. You don't have to do that because you already know what we are. So I say to you, you know, while we're so busy playing this game, this exhausting game that we have to play every time we walk out of our door, if we're going to certain places, you know, take the time to educate yourself. And I even say that to us too. Educate yourself. Understand, and I will continue to say this in every show I give, practically. Understand where you come from. Because there are people who have done things for us who are nameless. You look at all the people who in the civil rights era that was, you know, that were lynched, houses burned, bombed, women raped, people stolen or kidnapped from their homes and disappeared, people whose names we will never, ever know. So, you know, to our young people, I say, you know, you may get tired of hearing about, we got to hear this story again. How many times we got to hear about Martin Luther King? How many times we got to, you know, can we show another movie or make another movie besides the Underground Railroad? No, we can't. See Roots, the original Roots. Yes, it was remade. I watched that too. It was good, but see the original Roots. You know, read Bull Whip Days. So to those white people who want to understand this and know, read those books. Firsthand account from slaves. Go to the South. Visit the lynching museum. You know, learn about the parts of this history that you don't want to learn about, that you don't want to know. Because it's part of our history and something that we deal with. You know, there is a very possibility that your family had slaves. Well, my family, we were slaves, you know? So, and even slaves were playing the game. Slaves were playing the game. Those slaves that worked in the house, they were playing the game. That maid that worked, for the Mrs. and the master. And when the Mrs. went to sleep at night, the master is raping her. So we've been playing the game for so long. It's just a part of us. It's something that we do. Luckily with COVID, for me, I haven't gone out much, so I'm not playing the game as much, but when I do go out, when I do go certain places, it's like automatically you're on, that switch in your brain turns, and people of color know what I'm talking about. That switch in your brain just turns. And when you get back in your car or wherever, you're just like, I remember one time I went out with some of my friends, and again, white. I was the only one. It was about 5 of us, and we're sitting for lunch. I'm just listening to them talk. And I just, they were like, oh, you're not saying much. And I was like, oh, no, I'm just listening to you. And I was just listening to them talk about stuff. And I'm just like shaking my head like, you all have no clue. No clue how privileged you are. Complaining about little trivial crap. So I don't know. I can go on and talk about stuff, but all I say is, as a non-person of color, if you want to learn, if you want to truly understand, then take the time to make the effort to read books, visit places, and truly try to understand on your own before you ask us. And then maybe if you learn on your own and you go and see some of these places and, and see how people were treated, how people live, whatever, maybe that question that's at the tip of your tongue won't be so stupid or so ignorant. Because I'm telling you, I'm exhausted. Being Black is exhausting. It is. And being a Black woman is exhausting, is even more exhausting. We are probably the most stereotyped beings on this earth, next to Black men. Black women, I'm sorry, we are more stereotyped than Black men. We're supposed to be so sexual. We love this, we love that, No, we don't. Who gave you that idea? Mick Jagger in one of his songs? Come on. So I don't know. That's all I have. And I will tell everyone I'm getting a new green screen. I should have it on Saturday, so I won't be fading into the background here or whatever. But again, thank you very much. And to my one friend, I say thank you for showing up. Thank you. Speak your truth always. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.